Let's bring in somebody who's been thinking an awful lot long-term, kind of gaming things out. That's Ken Rogoff. He is professor of public policy and economics at Harvard University. He also happens to be a fantastic chess player who knows how to think through problems and think things out. And I assume he's been doing that for this, too. Ken, thanks for being with us today. I heard you the other day saying something about how when we come out of this, we're going to emerge to a very different world. And I think you're probably one of the people who is thinking long term at this point. What do you see after this?
Well, obviously, we're in a war. This is like an alien invasion. And the big question is, how we come out of it. You were just talking about would there be some antiviral drug that came in earlier? I mean, it's sort of, I'm not a virologist. It's hard to know. But I've certainly been talking extensively with my co-author, Carmen Reinhardt, trying to reach for analogies to think of how to think about this. And it's really hard. I mean, you have to kind of reach back to the Spanish influenza to think of something that was worldwide. The 2008 global financial crisis wasn't really global. It was mostly the advanced countries. The emerging markets snapped out of it. China, except for a brief pause, did really well. This is different in the sense this really is the whole world. If we look at examples in our book, and there are many where a real shock, this is a natural catastrophe, hits an economy and then it morphs into a financial crisis. But this one's really worldwide. And the first instance is to protect people's health. But as you're talking about one story after another at your show, the question is how to prevent this from morphing into something that lasts for a decade and not simply a year or two.
Well, back up for a second. We had an economist on CNBC in the last hour who said something about, this is going to be 2 weeks. I'm not even sure it's going to be a recession. You are now talking about hoping that it's not going to be 10 years. And recognizing that it's going to be a year or two.
You got to be kidding that this is not going to be a recession.
I know. That's what I thought it was.
We are in a global recession, a U.S. recession, at least, in the sense of a very deep downturn is, I think, a certainty. It seems to me likely that at least the short-term fall will be greater than anything we saw in the financial crisis. I think, as I said a few weeks ago, we pushed the pause button on the global economy. We have all these industries shut down. And, a lot of small business owners, you must come into contact with them, too. They don't know how they're going to keep people. We can see millions and millions of people lose their jobs. We can see unemployment go above what it went in 2008. It doesn't necessarily have to last as long, but this is very, very serious. Again, a lot depends on how it works out with the drugs and treatment. But, so far we're hopeful. But, if we have to do this, shutting everything down, that's clearly maybe the best thing. We're in a war, but the economic consequences are just profound.